The self-realized soul is thus reflected first in the threefold ego and then in the body, senses and mind. So, understanding material nature, this is the title of the chapter. Lord Kapila is explaining about how a jiva identifies himself. The previous verse says, the presence of the Supreme Lord can be realized just as the sun is realized first as a reflection on water and again as a second reflection on the wall of the room, although the sun itself is situated in the sky. So, step by step, Lord is mentioning how this realization comes and what is the position. Exactly this is explained and the upcoming verse, next verse. Although a devotee appears to be immersed in the five material elements, the objects of material enjoyment, the material senses, and the material mind and intelligence, he is understood to be awake and to be freed from false ego. To be freed from false ego. So, understanding the Supreme Lord, understanding one's own real nature, and then how to engage oneself. This is called as, in the 13th chapter, it's called as Jnana Chakshu. Right? Jnana means knowledge, Chakshu means eyes or vision. So, the vision of knowledge. Now, the translation is very interesting. The self-realized soul is thus reflected first in the threefold ego and then in the body, senses and mind. Reflected in threefold ego. So what is this threefold ego? There are three stages of identification that Prabhupada explains in the purport. First is the conditioned soul. He thinks I am this body. Right? That is under a darkness progresses. One conception is in the darkness of the threefold identification qualities of material nature, goodness, passion, ignorance. All three, they think they are body and they work for the welfare of the body. Right? Even one in Sattva-guna, Brahma Janati iti Brahmana, Brahmana is supposed to be in Sattva-guna. But unless one is firmly situated in pure goodness, he cannot give up the bodily conception of life. So, in 14th chapter, Lord explains that those who are in Sattva-guna, they are also bound by two things, happiness and knowledge. A person who is in Sattva-guna, he knows how to act as per the Shastra. He acts as per the Shastra. So, because he is acting as per the Shastra, he acquires Punya. So, he has a happy life, well opulent life, well settled life. Always by doing Punya activities, his life becomes very peaceful, joyous, and then he gets attached to that material conception of life. So, even though somebody is supposed to know Shastra, he is expected to know the soul, the super soul, and the process of connection with the super soul. But those who are in mode of goodness or bound by mode of goodness are attached to material happiness, which they derive by doing pious activity. And because they have knowledge of the scriptures, they know how to improve their lifestyle. So they are bound by, they think themselves to be superior to others. I know better than others. I know how to act, how to get things done, how to manipulate this material energy properly. So in this way they are bound. Rajogun, Tamogun are completely in bodily concept of life. Right. Now, this is first stage. Second stage is, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. He starts working for the benefit of the soul on the spiritual platform. This is second stage. Now this is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Lord explains how this position is acquired. In 18th chapter, Lord gives the characteristics of person or the process, not the characteristics, the process of realizing the self. O son of Kunti, learn from me in brief how one can attain to the supreme perfectional stage Brahman by acting in the way which I shall now summarize. By acting in the way. So how Brahman is realized? This is second stage. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. But he is stuck up at spirit soul. For him the process is very difficult. Klesho adhik tarastesham. Right? Avyakta asakta chersam. So now that process is explained. Being purified by his intelligence and controlling the mind with determination. Giving up the objects of sense gratification. Being freed from attachment and hatred. One who lives in a secluded place. All these conditions have to be fulfilled. Who eats little, okay, and who controls the body and the tongue. This is also essential. This is most difficult. Right? And is always in trance and is detached. Who is without false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and who does not accept material things. Such a person is certainly elevated to the position of self-realization. This process, just to realize self, just to realize the soul, this is the process, and it takes many births. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan. To become jnanavan itself, it takes many births to control tongue, to control the senses, control the mind, give up the objects of sense gratification, then to be situated in trance, always in the trance, and is detached. Who is without false ego, false strength, false pride, lust, anger, and who does not accept material things. So this is the process of absolute, complete renunciation from everything. Right? And this is considered to be very difficult process. After that also one will reach only Brahman. I am not this body, I am spirit soul. And from there also there is a danger of falling down. Then the third process, third aspect of ego is, I am not this body, I am spirit soul. As a spirit soul, I am eternal servant of Krishna. Now next, that Lord explains how that is achieved. So there is a big difference between realization, process of Brahman realization and process of Krishna realization. Though engaged in all kinds of activities, my devotee under my protection reaches the eternal and imperishable abode by my grace. So now Lord says how Krishna is realized, or how the Supreme Lord is realized. By engaging in all kinds of activities. This is explained in 9th chapter. Yat karoshi, yad ashnashi, yad juhosi, dadasi, yad tapasyasi kaunteya, tat karushva madarpanam. So why this is so important? Because to give up material things immediately and to take up spiritual path is not possible for a conditioned living entity. Right? One is forced. In 3rd chapter, Lord Krishna says, one is forced to act according to the modes of nature. These modes of nature, Prabhupada explains, guna. Guna means rope. And when there is a normal thread is easy to break. But when there are 3 threads and they are twined like this, it makes the rope very strong. So these 3 gunas are twined like this and they bind the living entity. They are very difficult to give up. So the process of Jnana Yoga, to give up material life, to give up false ego, false pride, material possessions, anger, lust, greed, all these things is very difficult for a conditioned soul. But in Bhakti Yoga, one has to engage these in Krishna's service. Now Lord says here, the purport that we are discussing from Bhagavatam, that is explained by Prabhupada in Bhagavad Gita purport also. O son of Kunti, all that you do. So a person tends to act according to his inclination, tends to act according to his influence of 3 modes. All that you do, all that you eat, a person eats according to his own inclination. Okay. All that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. So person bound by 3 modes engages in different activities according to his liking, disliking. Right? So he need not give up, because the modes are very strong. They bind the person very rigidly. So he need not give them up. So what he has to do? He has to keep doing what he is doing and engage these activities in Krishna's service. Of course, they should be authorized by Shastra. One is in Tamoguna and he is addicted to alcohol or meat eating, he cannot offer. They should be authorized by Shastra. But there is a big scope in Shastra to engage your activities in Krishna's service. Now, next verse says, in this way, you will be freed from the reactions to good and evil deeds. And by this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. That's why Lord says that the devotee engages in all kinds of activities. Whatever activity is given to the devotee, he thinks, I am a devotee, I am supposed to do this. He doesn't think, I am in Sattva-guna, so I should do this activity. I am in Rajoguna, I will do that activity. I am in Tamoguna, I like some other activity. No. Devotee knows, I am servant of Krishna. Whatever service comes from Krishna, I should be ready to do. Devotee is attached to doing service. He is not attached to result. Oh, my guna does not match with the service, so result will not come. Our process to attain Krishna is by engagement, not by result. Result is in Krishna's hands. Our process is of engagement. Our process of purification is not bringing result. Our process of purification is engaging in the service. So when some service is given, devotee quickly engages. Now, Lord says in the 28th verse of 9th chapter, in this way you will be freed from all reactions to good and evil deeds. Right? So, when a devotee is engaged in this way, he is freed from all the reactions of good and evil deeds. And by this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. Lord is saying, whatever you eat, you offer to me and eat. And by offering to Lord and eating, it is called principle of renunciation. Whatever you do it as an offering unto me. By doing whatever we want to do or whatever we are assigned to do or whatever we are inclined to do as an offering to Lord, it is called principle of renunciation. Now, this is what Prabhupada is explaining in the purport, that devotee appears to be on materialistic platform. He may appear to be acting on the materialistic platform like others. Others are also interested in eating Manchurian and fried rice. Devotee is also interested in eating Manchurian and fried rice. Then what is the renunciation? The principle of renunciation is whatever you eat, do it as an offering unto me. Right? Now, what is the result of this principle of renunciation? You will be liberated and come to me. So, Bhakti Yoga means in this life also you enjoy and in the next life also you enjoy. Right? So, here, Shubha Shubha Palarevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma. Sannyasa means renunciation, Yoga Yuktatma. So there are two words. Sannyasa means to renounce and Yoga means to connect. Right? Vimukto mam upeshyasi. Such a profound statement it is by Lord. That by eating gobi manchurian and fried rice, you can go back to Godhead. If you do it as an offering unto the Supreme Lord. Right? If you attack and eat so much, then it is not an offering. Then it is sense gratification. Even though it is prasadam, it's purifying, but the consciousness. So nothing has to be renounced, it's just transformation of consciousness. Now in the purport of this verse, 9.28, it is very nicely explained that how a Vaishnava acts. And here Prabhupada says, with that correct vision, one can engage everything in the service of the Lord. It is stated in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that one who has engaged everything, his vital energy, his wealth, his intelligence and his words in the service of the Lord, or who desires to engage all these in the service of the Lord. Who has engaged or he desires. He desires. Right? To engage all these in the service of the Lord, no matter how he is situated, is to be considered a liberated soul. Not just engagement, there has to be sincere desire to engage. Right? So desire, how do you say, what is the difference between desire and wish? Wish means we sit down and wish it should happen. Desire, when somebody has a desire, he puts efforts to do it, whether it happens or not. When somebody has a desire, he will always search for an opportunity to do it. I have a great desire to attain something, to accomplish something. So I'm always looking for an opportunity, how I will accomplish this, how I will reach that goal. So that is called desire. So desire is backed up by, there is an urge, there is a force to accomplish it. Wish means, beta, hoga to ho jayega, jhuli mein girega to gir jayega. So this is wish. Right? There is a very nice example in Mahabharata where there is a conversation between Dhritarashtra and Bhishma Dev. When Lord Krishna was coming as a messenger, Pandava's messenger to Hastinapur. So he stayed on the outskirts of the city. He didn't enter the city. Right? So a message reached the palace to Dhritarashtra that Krishna has come as a messenger of the Pandavas. So immediately Dhritarashtra called Bhishma Pitama, Vidura and many other counselors that how to receive him and what to do and all those things. So Dhritarashtra was saying, I will give him carts and carts full of gold and jewels. I will give him very precious costly clothing. I will give him hundreds of elephants, chariots, and so many male, females, maid servants, men servants. So many things I'll give. I'll give him so many riches, opulences, all these things to please him. So Bhishma Pitama says, he is the creator of everything. Right? He is the creator of the entire universe. By your little elephants, horses, chariots, gold, servants, and clothing, he is not going to get pleased. He has come all the way as a messenger of the Pandavas, so he has something else. If you really want to please him, give him what he wants. And what he wants is the rightful share of the Pandavas. That is the adhikara of the Hastinapur. He says, no, I want to please him, but I am very attached to Duryodhana. So I cannot, upset my son and please Krishna. So Bhishma Pitama there points out, you are just wishing to please Krishna, you don't have real desire or urge to please Krishna. So real desire to please Krishna means then you should be ready to sacrifice anything for Krishna. He said, no, I know he is Supreme Lord. I know what you are saying, that everything comes from him. He is a Supreme Controller. I know this. But I am so much afflicted by attachment to my son, Duryodhana, that I can't go against Duryodhana's happiness, his pleasure. So there is a difference between wish. I wish to please Krishna means whatever is there, give him and make him happy. I have serious desire to please Krishna, then whatever he wants, for that I am ready to do anything. So now here it is said, so this is how we learn from Dhritarashtra's example, that ठीक है, comfort zone में रह के जो हो जाएगा, हो गया तो ठीक है, खुश हो गए, हाथी घोड़े लेके तो हो गए, ऐसा है. Otherwise, if he really wants to make Krishna happy, then whatever Krishna has come for, he should immediately give. Now here also it is said in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, one who engages, right, everything in the service of the Lord, or who desires to engage all these in the service of the Lord, no matter how he is situated, whether he is capable of doing or not, but he has a sincere desire to serve, to engage everything in Krishna's service, this desire is the key to going back to Godhead. Right? Now, in 9.28 purport, very nicely it is said, a person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord, or is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord. Either action-wise engaged means to act, always engaged in the service of the Lord, or is always thinking and planning, constantly is thinking about his service, about how to serve Krishna well, how to become good devotee, how to please the Lord, how to engage, in an authorized, assigned way, always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord, is to be considered completely liberated at present and in the future. His going home back to Godhead is guaranteed. Even thinking and planning can take us back to Godhead, guaranteed, because here it is written, or engaged in service, or thinking and planning of serving. Either of these will guarantee us going back to Godhead. Because the whole criteria or parameter of going back to Godhead is our desire to serve. Right? Sometimes people say, भगवान हमको लेके क्यों नहीं चले जाते ऊपर? जब भगवान को इसलिए दुनिया इसलिए बनाई है, Lord has created this world for us that we engage in His service. We are already tired of this world. Why doesn't Krishna take us back to Godhead? Once and for all, He should take everybody back to Godhead and finish all this material maya. So the answer is this, that you don't have desire to serve. After going there also, oh Krishna, उसको ज़्यादा दे दिया, मेरे को कम दे दिया, इसने ऐसा कर दिया. Krishna, he is saying like this to me, he is doing like this to me. So after going there also, we'll forget Krishna. We'll think about ourselves only. Going back to Godhead is meant for serving Krishna. Unless one has 100% desire to serve Krishna, there is no point, there is no purpose of going back to Godhead. Right? We don't want to 100% serve Krishna, that's why we are here. So the purpose, why Bhagwan क्यों नहीं लेके जाते? Why Krishna doesn't take us back to Godhead? Because you don't want to serve Him. You want to go also because you are trying to escape from the misery of this world. Not in the mood of serving. Sometimes people come, I want to join temple. क्यों join करना है? बहुत कष्ट है बाहर. But that is not the purpose of joining. Purpose of joining is to 100% serve the Lord under the direction of a bona fide spiritual master. नहीं, बाहर बहुत तकलीफ है, महंगाई भी बढ़ रही है, जॉब भी नहीं मिल रहा है, मुझे रख लो अंदर. So this is, you are trying to escape your misery. This is not the place for escaping misery. This is a place for dedicatedly serving the Lord, taking up Lord's mission, right, as a servant. So that difference one has to understand. So here it is said, a person who is thus always engaged in the service of the Lord is always thinking and planning how to serve the Lord, is to be considered completely liberated at present. And in the future, his going home back to Godhead is guaranteed. He is above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. So just by engaging in this way, right, one can become liberated. This is how Bhakti Yoga works. Now the point is under discussion, the desire to serve. Right? Even this desire alone. Right? So desire always should be backed up by effort. If there is no effort, then it is not desire. It's just a fanciful imagination or just feel good. So desire has to be backed up by genuine, sincere effort. So our entire existence in this material world is because of desire. Lord Krishna explains in 15th chapter very nicely. Mana Shashtani Indrani, what is the first line? Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Mana Shashtani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Okay. So we are parts and parcel of Krishna. This is 15th chapter. In the 14th chapter itself, Lord said, one who understands this functioning of material nature, the soul, three things he said: soul, super soul and material nature. One who understands these three, he will attain to my nature. Correct? What is the nature? Prabhupada explains in the purport, Lord is Sachidanand. One becomes Sachidanand like the Supreme Lord. Right? So the point is, Lord is Sachidanand, eternal, blissful. But living entity being part and parcel of the Lord should also be eternal, blissful, full of knowledge. Then why living entity is not eternal? He is repeatedly going in cycle of birth and death. So he is not eternal, dying, taking birth, dying, taking birth. And Prakriti Sthani Karshati, he is full of struggles. He is not Anandamay, he is full of struggles. Karshati means struggle. So Lord is saying, he is supposed to be like me, Sachidanand, but he is Asat, Niranand, Achit, like that. He is full of ignorance, full of misery, full of birth and death troubles. Why? They are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. This mind is the culprit. Right? This mind is the culprit. How this mind is the culprit? This mind is fed with three modes of material nature. These three modes generate materialistic desires independent of Krishna, These desires are the cause of one's struggle in this material existence. Right? So Lord says in the previous verse, now the Lord says, we are trapped in this material creation. This is a reflection tree. Banyan tree is reflection tree. We are trapped in this material creation. This material creation, this is perverted banyan tree, inverted, upside down banyan tree is nourished by three modes of material nature. And living entities attached to these three modes. He is taking his nourishment from these three modes in this material existence. And because of these three modes, he is generating materialistic desires, which is the cause of his existence in this creation. So the Lord says what has to be done? By the weapon of detachment, right? By the weapon of detachment, one should give up this materialistic desire and take up Krishna conscious desires. So very nicely Prabhupada explains this. This process of extrication should be understood. Extrication from means coming out of this material creation. Right? In the previous chapters, it has been explained that there are many processes by which to get out of the material entanglement. And up to the 13th chapter, we have seen that devotional service to the Supreme Lord is the best way. Now, the basic principle of devotional service is detachment from material activities and attachment to the transcendental service of the Lord. Both are activities of the mind. Attachment happens in the mind, detachment happens in the mind. That's why Lord says your cause of struggle in this material creation is your mind. It is nourished by three modes. It is getting you attached to three modes and materialistic activities. You are trapped and struggling. If you detach yourself from three modes and attach the mind to the transcendental service of the Lord, then you will come out of this material creation. This is what Srila Rupa Goswami is saying in Bhaktivedanta Swami Sindhu, and Prabhupada is also explaining in this 9th chapter purport, that the desire has to be changed. It has to be a desire, there is earnest desire, an urge to serve, that has to be taken care, that has to be fixed, and one has to nourish this desire. How one has to nourish? By devotional service, by association of devotees, by hearing from bona fide spiritual master, this desire or attachment to serving Krishna develops. The process of breaking attachment to the material world is discussed in the beginning of this chapter. Right? So what is that process? Now, in one capsule, see, principle is given. This 15th chapter is very interesting. First principle is given. What is the principle? Principle is detach from matter, attach to Krishna. Entire Bhagavad Gita is filled with details of these two instructions, these two principles. Whatever we read in Bhagavad Gita, any instruction given by Lord is directing either to detach from matter or attach to Krishna. Now the entire teaching in one small pill, one small capsule is given in 5th verse of 15th chapter, 15.5. What is that? What one should detach from, that is how to train the mind. What one should attach to, how to train the mind. Right? Because principle is detachment and attachment. Okay. One who is free from illusion. Right? What is free from illusion? Nirmana moha. One who is free from illusion. Illusion is explained, free from illusion is explained in 4th chapter. So how one has to cultivate, how one has to train himself. Free from illusion is explained as Yad gyatva na punar moham evam yasasi pandava na punar moham. So what is that freedom from illusion? What knowing by which one becomes free from illusion? And when you have thus learned the truth, you will know that all living beings are but part of me and that they are in me and are mine. Right? So when one knows, I belong to Krishna, I am Krishna's. Right? You know, hum Krishna ke hain, aisa aata na t-shirt. We are Krishna. That is this 4.35. We belong to Krishna, we are Krishna's. So when one knows this, he is free from illusion. Now, detachment from, next is false prestige. false association and attachment to Krishna. That is knowing, understanding the eternal. Okay. So detachment from illusion, detachment from false prestige, false association, and knowing the eternal. What is that eternal? That is soul, super soul, and connection between them. One who is done with material lust, he is detached from material lust and is free from duality of happiness and distress. He is detached from happiness and distress. Whatever comes, he is satisfied, unaffected. And who knows attachment now, who knows how to surrender to the Supreme Person, attains to that eternal kingdom. Right? So this is how one's mind has to be trained repeatedly. Then one will never fall to the false ego of I am this body, or anything connected to the body is mine. So this is how Lord explains, by engaging in devotional service, doing whatever one can do. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yadyohasi. Right? By following this principle, one becomes detached. Even if one is not having facility to do execute devotional service, one is constantly meditating on serving the Lord. Out of 9 processes of devotional service, Smaranam is one. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam. Each of these 9 processes, each is individually capable of taking one back to Godhead. Just Smaranam, that sincere desire, sincere remembrance of Lord and engaging mind in serving Lord or wishing to serve the Lord, can take one back to Godhead, because Lord only wants our desire to serve Him to go back to Godhead. Right? Not action, desire. Desire is there, then automatically we'll serve. Whether we have desire here or there. Whole purpose of our coming to this material creation was we didn't have desire to serve the Lord. And this material creation is based on that material desire only. Right? So we'll stop here. Granthashram Bhagavatam ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.